Steve Cologne with Cologne Villaplana. Congratulations, you're clear to close. Now what happens? A lot of my clients, and this is why I did the video, there's a lot of questions on what happens and when do you get your numbers, and what do you show up with at closing. Well, this will explain all that to you. So a lot of things go into a clear to close. So once your lender clears your close, sometimes that means it goes to their bank attorney for an internal review. Other times we're getting the clear to close from the bank attorney themselves. Now the seller's attorney has to, once we settle on a date, okay, and that in itself is challenging because you have to make sure the bank attorney schedule works out, the title company, the buyer's attorney, seller's attorney, buyers and sellers are all able to attend the closing. So let's say we get all that coordinated. The next thing that happens is that the seller's attorney is supposed to give us, the buyer's attorney, if I'm being a buyer attorney, the adjustments. What are the adjustments? Well, the real estate taxes, the prorated real estate taxes, if there's rentals, the prorated rental amount, any credits, basically what do you owe the seller? And then as a buyer's attorney, we have to agree to that. Once we agree to that, now we send that off to the bank attorney. The bank attorney is going to put that in their final closing disclosure. The final closing disclosure is very important because that is what is going to help us prepare what your final number is. So going into that, when the bank attorney has the final what's called CD, closing disclosure, and that might not be the one that you sign that allows you to schedule a closing up to 3 days later. They may differ slightly because they may not have those adjustments on it. Once you have that final CD on the bank attorney, you're going to, the buyer's attorney is going to get what's called a net. That means the net available. So some clients, if there's, let's say you're borrowing $500,000 for instance, you're not going to get $500,000 on the day of closing. The bank's going to take out all their bank fees, and all those title costs, all the closing costs the bank warned you about are going to come out of those, out of the bank account, and after that's going to be what is your available amount to close. Once we get that from the bank attorney, we're able then to put a closing statement together and then tell you this is what to bring to closing. Now, typically we try to make you bring as least amount of checks as possible because bank checks can cost money. And yes, you have to bring bank checks. If you don't have personal checkbooks, get one in advance if you're going to be closing, because you may need at closing a personal check if something comes up at the last minute. Typically not, but it may happen. Unfortunately, the timing of all this happens the day before or the day of the closing. The bank attorney typically is not going to get you your net available funds until the day before or the day of, and then as a buyer's attorney, I have to calculate what you owe the seller, what's available, and then tell you what checks to bring. You may have to bring in certain checks to a realtor or to some other name, and you might say, well, why am I paying that money? Well, if you owe the seller $500,000, you're going to pay the seller the way the seller tells you. Pay my mortgage off, pay my realtor. But if you add up all that, it's going to be what you owe the seller and what are your closing costs, and that's pretty much it. Any questions, give me a call, but that is the clear to close process, and I hope you understand now what can take a little bit of time and a delay from when you actually get a clear to close. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the videos that you've watched today. They're not meant to be a substitution for speaking with your legal professional, but just an educational tool. Thank you.